Hey everyone, and welcome to Repurpose Live, where we help you rethink your growth, your wellness, and your purpose. My name is Lissa Figgins, and it's my mission to help women to have the health, the time, and the resources to create a life that you love, no matter what stage of life that you're in. And it's my intention each and every week to introduce you to amazing women who could also help you with those priorities. So today, I would like to introduce you to Maureen Vincenty. She has repurposed herself. She's gone from NASA to corporate, to being a wellness coach, to looking around and seeing a gap. As an entrepreneur, she saw a lot of other entrepreneurs and coaches did not know or were pretending not to know, right? All the legal stuff. And she decided to repurpose herself to be the go-to gal for all things legal. So Maureen, I'm so glad that you were here with us today because this is such a great topic. Tell us a little bit more about you and your journey to repurposing yourself and what you're doing now to serve others.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me. I'm excited to be here, and it's been a challenge to actually try to articulate what I do because it has been a very interesting journey to get me here. But yeah, so I mean, I grew up always with like this super nerdy scientific analytical brain,
Love
and so
it.
that led me to go to UCLA and just be total nerd geek fest, and I loved it. And I switched my major 7 times, always a
Ah,
science.
I bet your
Always
parents love that, right?
Oh my God. Well, I started off animal biology, then I was pre-med. So I was like microbiology, immunology, molecular genetics. My mom got stage 4 ovarian cancer. And
Mm,
so I really started to try to figure out, well, why did she get it? What caused it? 'Cause
mm,
she had the
mm.
genetic testing done, it was negative, and they were going to give her chemo and a hysterectomy. And I kept saying, okay, great, but she doesn't have cancer because she's deficient in chemotherapy. Like, why? Like, I always
Right.
chase everything down the rabbit hole. And so, anyway, she ended up passing away several years later. And I just got so disheartened with human science.
Mm,
So, but still science. So I was like,
right.
oh, rocks and planets, they don't bleed. That feels safe.
They don't bleed, they don't talk back, right?
Right. So that's how I ended up in astrophysics and geology. And then UCLA was just like, oh, you exceeded your max units, you're done. And I was like, what do you mean? You don't want to just keep collecting my money for forever? So I kind of default graduated with that.
Okay.
So I had a research job for NASA for a while, which was cool, and studying moon rocks, and I loved it. But then I went into the corporate world of being a geologist and working for like private firms and then EPA. And it wasn't as glamorous as it is in school. I thought, oh, maybe I'll be collecting lava samples in, Hawaii in a bikini or something. No,
Right.
I
Sounds
was
fantastic.
at oil refineries 60 hours a week, working with drillers, never making more than 50 grand a year, hard hat, steel toed boots, running the same reports over and over again for 12 years. And I was like,
Oh,
this is exhausting. But then in my 20s, I was a collegiate athlete, and started getting all these like just weird health issues myself, like gaining
mm,
weight and depressed and hair falling out. And I felt like I was doing the whole thing with my mom all over again with Western medicine. They're like, there's nothing wrong with you. And so I just, for fun, was collecting all these certifications in functional medicine and nutrition, really just learning how to heal my own body,
right, right.
like using my body as a petri dish. And then, but never intending to do anything with it. And so all these people are like, you should be doing this, full time. And I'm like, okay, yeah, I can fix people, but I have no idea how to run a business. Like, entrepreneurship is a
Right.
completely separate beast. I'm not a salesperson. I'm not a business person. Like, tell me what to do and I'll do it. Like, I'm great working in systems and corporate, and it felt safe. I
Yeah.
never made
Yep.
a lot of money per se, but I could like organize my whole life in a color coded Excel spreadsheet, and
Perfect. Yes. The
fear
checklist. Hmm.
totally. And but I finally just realized, okay, I need to really be helping people and serving people and just figure it out. And so, luckily for us, and maybe a lot of these women watching, there's so many great resources and business coaches and masterminds. So I stepped out and created transformative well-being and was able to help hundreds of clients with like autoimmune stuff and celiac and Hashimoto's. Like, I have diabetes, athletes. So as a peak performance
Mm,
health consultant,
hmm.
and that was all great. And then COVID hit, and my ability to get clients from traveling and speaking really shut down. And, I had some friends that were really involved with the legal side of things. And it kind of piqued my interest because I think I probably would have still been at UCLA switching majors too. A part of me always wanted to do the law thing.
Okay.
And I love Suits and The Good Wife and all these legal things. So I kind of started to geek out and realize, oh my gosh, and all the business coaching and masterminds that I did, the legal part of it was never really addressed.
Interesting, isn't it?
I think one business coach brought in an attorney that talked to us about the importance of contracts and things like that. But, she was like, it's $500 an hour to book a session with me. And I thought, oh my gosh,
I've got other things to invest in.
Right. So many of us, like with the marketing and ClickFunnels and this and the website and ads and such. So it's like, I feel like it was one of those things. It was like a light bulb. And I was like, wait a second. There's so much, like, it's just never talked about. And then I started hearing horror stories about, my friends that were getting sued and like cease and desist letters because someone else owned the name. And I thought, I've had over 300 clients sign my contracts that I never had an attorney review. And then I started stalking all these attorneys on Instagram and, like privacy policy on websites and terms. And so anyway, I don't want to run on and on. Maybe you can ask me some specific questions. I can give tips, but I just got this obsession and I felt like God has kind of moved me now into being this, like, I don't know, legal consultant, not an attorney, but just like, I feel like it's my mission to help all of us, like coaches and entrepreneurs, like make the legal part super simple, fun, try to make it fun, not overwhelming. Cause I think it's always felt overwhelming. We have the story, it's, I don't know, or a lot of people don't even know what the legal side is.
Exactly. Yeah. Ignorance is bliss, right? Until there's a problem. It's like insurance, right? You don't know you need it until you need it. And then you're like, shoot, I should have already had this.
Yeah. So I've been doing these master classes where it's like building an empire basics. Like, what do you need to know now? What do you need to know as you grow and scale? Keep it super simple, keep it fun, contracts, templates. Like, it doesn't have to be this whole crazy thing. So that's what I'm up to right now.
What I love about your journey, Maureen, as you're sharing all of that, there's this common thread that goes from, it just was like one step to the next, right? An interest, a need, something that you were looking at, seeing a need around you, then moving into that, seeing a need around you, moving into that, right? There's the learning piece of it, and then the doing something and sharing that with other people. And I think that's really the key to finding our purpose. I had a conversation with some ladies yesterday. Some of them were in their 70s on this Clubhouse conversation. It was amazing. At one point, I was the youngest person in the room, which was so fun. But, they're still discovering their purpose. And it's really been, just like you shared, it's been this journey of different, steps along the way to really honing in on what does that look like? And I think what you're doing now is amazing, because there are so many of us who have a heart and a passion to serve, right? Whether it's serving as a coach, whether we're an entrepreneur that has a product or a service or a course or, anything like that. But to be honest, I don't think many people really stop to think about the legal side of it and, just assume that it's not a problem or hope for the best. And like you said, then things start happening and then it starts costing a lot of time and a lot of money. So I'm just trying to think from that person who's listening right now, who either already has a business that hasn't really considered this at all, or maybe that person who's thinking about starting a business and would just kind of like to shorten the learning curve and learn a little bit before she jumps in. What would be maybe like 2, 3, 4 things that you would say, these are things you need to be thinking about that are essential when it comes to business?
Basics. So if you're a coach, entrepreneur, or whatever, just starting, or even you've been in business for a while, this is something fun I like to have everyone do. So like if you have a website or any landing page, any opt-in page, I didn't know until months ago that it's actually illegal to have an opt-in, a landing page, or a website, even if it just has a contact me on it, without a privacy policy.
Oh, interesting.
Like, it's literally against the law. And so I was just like, oh my gosh, I did a summit 4 years ago. I hired a VA. I know there was an opt-in page. I built an email list.
Yeah, that's huge, right? Like you're building and connecting and
totally. Or we all have, think about how many email lists we're on because we wanted that like the lead magnet, the freebie, the checklist, the this. So
Right.
anytime we're collecting anyone's personal information, or if it's just a website that says, reach out to me, contact me, book here, it's literally against law to have a privacy policy. So people say, oh, I think, so if you go to your website right now, if you're watching this, or
Okay.
landing page, scroll down. And this is something I did in a masterclass the other day. I was like, some people were like, oh my gosh, it's not here. Or it says it, but like, if you're anything like me, I built my own site.
Right.
And so I
Right.
just used a WordPress template. So when you click on the privacy policy or terms and conditions and disclaimer, it might be blank. Like, don't be surprised if you click on it and it goes to an empty
Okay.
page because it's just the template there. So like, you're supposed to put it in. So that was something that I was like, oh my
Yeah.
God.
And but people don't know that, right?
No, never. We think of legal as like, okay, I'm gonna get sued, or
Right.
like the bigger stuff, but not like the basics. So that would be something. The second thing is, the importance of one-on-one contracts,
Okay.
and it's always fine to, you can buy templates online. If you do what I did, I piecemeal things together from other things that I had signed to create my client contract, which is fine. It's not necessarily bad. The problem is once we start to change the words, either for our business, maybe the state we live in, there's just no guarantee it's going to be ironclad in court. So should someone
Okay.
ever come
Right.
back and say, or go after you or whatever, they may win, even though they signed a contract, because it's the wording or how you phrase things. There may be some loopholes that person's attorney can use against you if you don't really know what it is. I mean, I had over 300 clients sign my one-on-one contracts before I learned this
Right.
stuff. And then, if you have a family attorney, great. You may have I didn't know that there were other resources available that, are monthly subscriptions you have access to. I always thought it had to be the 500 an hour. So
Right.
like, don't
Right.
let the money part, there's other resources I can share later if you're interested. Or maybe you have a husband who's an attorney, great, or you have some friend that can do you a favor, but just make sure that you have an attorney review that stuff. But
Okay.
that can be fun. The one-on-one contracts is where you get like, very specific about, do they have 24/7 boxer access to you? What's the refund like? What's their
Mhm.
expectations and yours? And then also empower yourself in it too. I was so desperate to take anyone willing to pay me in the beginning, when I gave them the right to cancel in there. But it wasn't until I had a couple bad clients where I realized, gosh, I don't have any wording in there that allows me to terminate the relationship,
Yes. Right. For
you know?
sure. This is
So
your
have,
business. Yes. You need
yeah.
to be able to say this isn't going to work.
And another quick thing, I mean, there's so much more: trademarking, scaling, virtual events, all that stuff, what you would need. But the other thing too is like testimonials. We all collect testimonials on our
Okay.
site.
Hmm.
So make sure you have the people that sign testimonials or give you testimonials, have them sign a testimonial release,
Okay.
because you never know if that relationship were to fall out. You don't want someone coming back 2 years down the road saying, I never gave you permission to say that, use my picture. So if they're willing to give you a testimonial in that moment, they'll be willing to sign a release. So
Exactly.
like, I just really try to help everyone understand the basics, how to be proactive and protective versus reactive and defensive,
Mm.
to make it fun, accessible, affordable, so that they are just able to go do and serve and do what they want to do.
Yeah, because otherwise these things can tend to weigh us down, right? If we're spending all this time worrying about it or trying to figure it all out or think about it, then it's going to take us away, especially if someone's a creative or they're just have a heart to be with people. Sometimes the mundane parts of, of legal stuff, or even, that's why people hire virtual assistants. So somebody can do the things that they can't do, right? And they can focus on what they're good at. So I know you've got some great resources and you have a checklist that you want to offer our audience, as well as a way to connect with you and learn a little bit more about how to proof ourselves, right, and make sure that we're safe. So tell us real quickly about that, and then I'll have you put those links in the comments so people can get in touch with you.
Yeah, so I'll put I have like a checklist of the top contracts you're really going to need to build your empire, kind of just grow and scale, like the most common things. And so I'll put that there, just things to be aware of. And then also too, I just love to connect with everyone. So I'll put a link to my calendar, offer like a free legal audit, kind of just get to know, okay, like where are you at with your business? Are you incorporated? Is that where you want to go this year? Maybe resources to do that, one-on-one, do you do group, digital courses, virtual events, retreats? So like, no matter where you're at now, where you want to go, kind of what contracts and templates and things you need. And I have invested so much money in all these templates, and I'm happy to share with people, and we can discuss that on the audit, what that looks like.
That's fantastic. Yeah.
And so, but again, an attorney still needs to review it. Just know, okay, this is great. It's a starting place, but it doesn't mean it's going to be totally legally protected. Like we all have to close the gap. So I'll explain all that, but yeah.
Yeah. Well, thank you, because, that's what will help somebody keep doing what they're doing, right? And scaling. So if you're listening right now and you've already in business and already you're looking at that list she gave and you're thinking, oh no, that's me. I haven't done those things. I've got my list right here that I was making. Or maybe you're thinking about starting one and you're just wanting to make sure you're protected. I highly recommend grab her checklist, because it's going to give you things to think about you haven't thought about. And some of them may be things you need right now. And some of them, like you said, may be things that as you scale, you're going to start doing. And so you want to start being proactive about those and thinking about those. So be sure to go down in the comments and grab those. And, right now, I love how so much of your transformation and your repurposing happened because life happened a year ago, right? And you just started rethinking where you were and where you were going. And I find a lot of women are doing that right now, or rethinking our growth, our wellness, our purpose, and how we communicate, how we connect, how we make a living. So I have a great resource that I'm going to put down in the comments as well about 5 things to look for if you're looking to start an online business that would just help find the right fit for you. Because whatever you do, it needs to be something that you're passionate about and that you want to serve the world with. So I'm so glad, Maureen, that you found what you're serving the world with. Thank you so much for sharing with us today. And thank you everyone for listening in to us this week. And I trust that this will add value for you, and want to encourage you to keep rethinking your priorities so you can create the life that you love. Thanks so much. Talk soon.
Thank you. Bye.